Disco George is in the house, and today I am bringing you a fantastic guest. He is a building expert here in South Florida, Wellington Construction. He's actually a personal friend of mine, but he is here to answer all the questions that you have of what's going on in construction. George and BB, of course, thank you for coming. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Feeling really good. Very, very excited to be here, Jorge.
Yes, we're super excited. Well, thank you for bringing us in.
Of course. Well, I've been wanting to get you guys here for a while.
I know.
But you guys are super busy, which is a great thing.
Yes. No complaints here about that.
No, definitely. So let's start. What's going on in the state of, not the state. I can say the state of Miami because Miami is in its own world. What's going on with construction?
This is very true. It's exciting what's going on in Miami. Actually, there's quite a bit of a movement. You see a lot of cranes going on. There's a lot of companies that are moving into the state, and predominantly in the Miami area, the Miami-Dade County area, so on and so forth. Our footprint is in the Tri-County area, so we stay busy. There's quite a lot going on. So
how far down do you go?
Literally to the Upper Keys.
Okay.
However, we try not to go so far simply because logistically is kind of difficult. There's only one way in, one way out, obviously. We like going further up to the Palm Beach area.
Okay.
And obviously we have quite a bit of work that's happening up there. So in the sense, with respect to what's happening in Miami, that's, 80% or 90% of our work is in Miami,
right?
And it's quite busy. As you well know, the bulk of our business is on interior build-outs, on tenant improvements, and this is basically where we get to see a lot of the companies that are moving into the state, and we get to see a lot of the expansions, or in some cases reductions of some of these tenants. So. There's quite a bit going on, George.
We definitely go wherever our clients wants us to go, as far as we can go. We definitely give them that service.
No, definitely. Especially now, I've noticed in the news there's been like a scarcity of journeymen, specialty workers. Has that affected you guys at all?
George, actually, we have a very complex team of subcontractors.
Very tight. It's like a family.
We have been working together for many years. So all of our subcontractors are basically vested in our company. The youngest one is probably about 10 years old. So
wow.
Essentially, we continue to working with these teams and always have successful projects. Our cost is always kept at a very minimal, and obviously we already know their general conditions and fees and whatnot. So it hasn't affected us. I know that there's a lot of companies out there that have suffered predominantly on the probably in the ground up construction, simply because you tend to see a little bit more influence in immigrant labor.
Right.
In our case, we are more technical, and a lot of the subcontractors that we do are very, mostly, service oriented, as well as, finishing and whatnot. So, our company itself has not,
suffer any.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
And the people that work for us, they stay with us. They love us because, we treat them with kindness, love, and we make them like part of a family. Aside from, professionally, we treat them very professionally, and we're always there for them.
Okay.
They've been with us for 25 years, basically.
Wow.
That's how long we've been open.
Let me ask you this question, Beatriz. Have you seen a change? Because I know you've been with George, obviously, since the beginning, but have you seen more women in the industry?
Of course. Project managers, there's tons of them. Most of them, I would say like a high number, 90% would be. And in construction, running a construction company, we're seeing a lot more too. Definitely. And as a company, as a woman-owned company, Wellington Construction, we have one of our subcontractors who does our finishing. She's a woman, and she owns the company.
Wow.
So, yes, we're seeing a lot of it.
Have you seen any women welders out there? Because I've seen those are very popular out there.
Not just yet. We have welders.
No.
Yes, and it's funny because we use one of the companies is my father's, which is Blandon Ornamental or Blandon Design, and but he hasn't hired any women. Shame on him.
Yeah. You know, I do tell you this, George. In a big part of the work that we do, we deal with property managers and building managers, and quite honestly, that a large percentage of those managers are women, not obviously women owned, because I they work for people for companies, national
It's a
companies,
corporation, right?
Yeah.
Right. But a great majority of them are women.
Wow. And I've also seen you guys, you do a lot of, I've seen you guys do the 5K races and
yeah.
stuff like that. You also give back to the community.
We
Yeah.
try in every sense of the word to give back to the community.
As much as possible,
as
yes.
much as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, they've given us a lot.
This community has literally seen our growth, and obviously we want to be part of that community as much as possible. In terms of the involvement in the Blue Lagoon is what you're talking about,
Right.
the Blue
The
Lagoon
5K, and also the Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, in there we are basically, what we try to do is we are sort of backup of companies that we work for. So we go in indirectly, we obviously donate and give back to the community in that sense. However, they are, what we try to do in a yearly basis is we try to help members of the community, elderly members, people that they don't have the ability of per se fixing a particular part of their home. We have partnered with, for instance, CB Richard Ellis to do work in projects that they have, and we
Helping
offer
the
our
community.
services, and together with our subcontractors, not just Wellington Construction, but
Right.
subcontractors themselves. They also
Everybody.
volunteer their work as well as some materials. So we are definitely instrumental in getting
Everybody
some
pitches
things
in.
done. Yeah.
Everybody pitches in.
Absolutely, yes.
And you told me your 25th anniversary is coming up?
Yeah, next year we'll. Yeah.
Yeah.
25 years of Wellington Construction.
Yeah.
Well, so tell me, how has Wellington Construction changed from the beginning? Because I remember you were a very small operation.
Yeah.
To now.
That was the time that you persuaded me to get your audition going. That's what you're talking about, right?
Well, we can talk about that if you like.
Well, I mean, we have definitely come a long way since those days, George. Honestly, it has been, to me, I think that our story is very inspirational, as I was talking to you about it earlier, in the sense that we are both from immigrant parents, and we have both lived literally the American dream, if you will, in the sense that we stayed focused, we stayed on target with what we wanted to do, and definitely struggled at the beginning in getting to where we are now. But yeah, it has been quite a ride.
When he started the company, I was a teacher for Miami-Dade County schools, and I was the one, holding up the household while he started the company. And once he, kind of settled and it balanced off,
Well,
I
you're
decided-
you're a great team. Sometimes
Yeah.
somebody's up, somebody's down,
Yeah,
but you
now
come together.
We came together, and then we've been flourishing since.
Well, you also in the family you have an architect now in your family, and somebody else that's an attorney that's going to be in real estate.
and development, both of them.
Yeah, so yes, we have two kids, John and Amanda. Amanda she's an attorney, and she's practicing law already. And John, our youngest son, he just graduated with his master's in architecture from UVA. So yes, we are very proud of both of them, and definitely look forward to joining the team.
in and becoming another team and a stronger team with Wellington Construction and other companies that we're thinking of.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you because, there's certain times in life that, you're going through it. And I wanted to know what sparked your interest in, construction. Was it something that was at a very young age, or what was it actually?
Yeah, well, for me at least, it became something that at a very young age, I'm from Ecuador, and while playing in my mother's garden, I had this thing that I love building things. So in the dirt, I will sort of build bridges and
Did you have the Tonkas?
no Tonkas.
No
there, man.
Tonka.
It was more like matchboxes.
Man, I would have known you then. I would have lent you one of my Tonkas.
It was more like matchboxes and things like that. And every so often I would get the little plastic guns with the wheels on them. But obviously,
Probably
imagination.
even made out of wood.
Yeah, imagination was one of those big things back then.
Yeah.
So I think that our story is I feel is very inspirational to many young people out there,
And to our kids.
I always like to share it simply because there's something always to look up to. At least when I was growing up, there's always something. I always try to see who I can tap into for inspiration, and one of those people were my parents, my own parents. Just having the courage to be able to migrate to a country that they had zero knowledge of, and be able to put us out there to, in reality, flourish as much as we could. And it's sad to see that sometimes some kids don't take that advantage of that. The
Right.
fact that you are here and you are able to do certain things. So therefore, I believed that there needed to be something out there. That needed to be something that I needed to do, and so I did. I was able to go to school. I'm an architect. I graduated as an architect. I practiced
And
architecture.
a very good one. He graduated first in his class from FAMU, by
Yeah.
the way. FAMU in
So,
Tallahassee.
Yeah, it was, and it was, quite an experience for me. I went to Miami-Dade Community College here, and then I finished up at Florida A&M University in School of
Okay.
Architecture there. And then shortly after practicing architecture, I felt the need to see more, to be able to understand architecture better. I needed to see how it was put together. Ironically enough, I fell in love with the career of construction. So I started working in construction. I worked for a company for nearly 10 years, gathered enough experience, and then finally, we took the step forward, Beatriz and I, to open up Wellington Construction. And those were the years that,
And it's funny because
Right.
we constantly gave it thought. What are we going to call the company? What are we going to? And we finally came out, with the name. So yeah.
It's funny, back
Took
in
a
the
few
day,
months.
back in 1985 and 86, when I was going to Gables High, I actually took architecture and electronics. It was
wow.
engineering.
Wow.
So I used to draw the old-fashioned way, with a
By
pencil.
hand, that's how he started. He still does it. He
Yeah.
still does
mechanical
it.
pencils and a pencil sharpener.
And John loves
Yeah.
sketching too.
Yeah.
So,
So-
You
yeah.
know what, George? We probably were in the same path. I went to Jackson Senior High,
Yeah.
and back then, Mr. Bryan, who's passed since, he was very inspirational too in sort of guiding me into architecture and the building aspect of it,
Yeah.
right? So there's a series of things, and you never know as a young person, you always have to find inspiration somewhere.
Right.
And I think that Mr. Bryan, Maurice Bryan is his name, was was very inspirational for many kids,
Yeah.
not only I. But that played that was one of the main things that sort of geared me into architecture. And then obviously once I switched over to construction, it was another set of experiences and learning and being. I've always been pretty much an on hand, boots on the ground kind of a
Right.
contractor. And I think that people appreciate that. In the days since I did your construction, when you see me there every day,
Yeah.
I mean, I never swung any hammers or anything like that, but I make sure, make certain that
That things went well.
were
Well,
done the
and
way
we
they're
gave you café cubano.
yeah,
Yeah,
To
that's
keep
good.
it
That
going,
helped
a little colada is always
that
good.
was the main reason why. But in the mornings, it was always in the mornings when you saw me there. Every so often the breakfast and whatnot.
Yeah.
But but it was a very it's. I think that you as a person that was receiving our services, I think that it gave you a certain amount of confidence.
Yes.
That it was being built properly. And that same confidence is what we try to keep nowadays in our company. So I know that our clients, when I'm involved, when I'm there,
Right.
and I do make it a point to visit all my job sites, I'm in tune with every one of my job sites, and I know that there's a certain sense of confidence when we are on board.
Yeah.
When either Beatriz, myself, or anybody that's
No matter how much we've
involved in our
grown,
company.
We tend to our clients. My clients could call, or our clients could call me anytime in the office. 'Cause
Right.
I'm really the one that runs
Well,
the
that's
office and
definitely true.
everything.
Every time I called, there always somebody did pick up, and Miami is famous for having contractors not picking up their phone.
No, we pick up. We're good contractors. You want to hire us.
It was funny because when we first opened up our company, I always wonder, I first of all, coming from a field in architecture where everything is so professional and everything is so sort of nice and pretty and whatnot, structured, and then jumping over to construction where there was, I feel that, and there still is a little bit of
Like a stigma.
people not able to trust 100% contractors, and I figure, this is a chance for us to make a difference in, we're going to change this. We're going to change the field of construction where,
The view of it.
Right.
When you tell somebody is at 8 a.m., you're there at 7:50 a.m.
Well,
when you tell them you're going to
yeah.
come back, you do call them back the same day.
Yeah, so at least you try the second day.
Exactly,
No
right.
longer
So
than that.
I think that's one of the things that, as far as we are concerned, helped to the trust that we have received from our clients.
Have built.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Now, I wanted to now branch into the other division that's in your company. It's building experts.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit what building experts, entitles.
Yeah. So this is actually a long story, but we'll try to put
Break
it in a
it down.
nutshell. A while back ago, back in 2006, there was obviously when we had that a little bit of a
Recession.
decline of construction and whatnot. There was still a need to repair buildings, to repair broken doors, to fix air conditionings, to change carpets, so on and so forth. And it was very difficult to sell the construction concept, right? Because it's
It's pricey.
think about it. You're gonna hire a full-blown construction company to change a light fixture.
Right.
So it was hard to sell that, and obviously owners have issues with that. We understood that, and we felt the need to open up something that it was relevant to construction that will move at a much quicker pace. And obviously, in doing so, the full force of a construction company wasn't involved, so you're not dragging a full company, the general conditions and fees, which are typically what drags costs up when
Right.
you're doing a small maintenance project. That's what basically drove the whole concept of opening up this company. This company is we brought in my younger brother, J.C. Gomez, Juan Carlos Gomez, and to basically take the role,
he
the
runs
leading
the
role in
division.
that company, and essentially has been a very successful endeavor. We are certainly very happy with it. We think that it's definitely a right-hand tool for our company because we are able to not only service construction but also service any building necessities, building maintenance that
That
may
is
arise
needed.
from anything inside the building, right? So.
Right.
And he runs it really well, and also gives the same treatment to the clients and everybody that that he works for, and gives any kind of help with whatever they need.
Okay.
He gives them
You're
the same kindness.
a phone
the same
call
thing.
away from.
Yes,
Maybe
we
you
are.
can have him here next time.
Well, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Let me ask you. So, what do you think is next for Wellington? Because you've grown exponentially. What's the next thing for Miami or for you and Wellington? Everything put together.
Well, obviously, we are very excited as to where we are. We think that there is, it's particularly in this area in South Florida, there's plenty of room to grow. We have literally structured our lives so that both of our kids will grow into this same sort of community of work, right? So John, obviously in architecture, Amanda in real estate law. It's definitely something that it can be a very powerful combination. Obviously, we would like to be counted on in any decisions that they make. And hopefully there will be some development up in the horizon. We have been literally experimenting with a few things. Now we are working on a project with our daughter, literally showing her exactly how things are done in terms of development.
From the beginning to the end,
Yeah, from beginning to
what
end.
are the steps that you take to do it?
Literally from the moment that you purchase a lot, in this particular case, to hiring the architect, hiring the infrastructure companies, as well as getting together the bids for the construction. So this is obviously something that is still in development, but I think in terms of what you just asked, George, is definitely going to be an infusion of development, as well as continuing on with our interior build-out company.
Awesome.
Yeah. And from my side, I run the numbers. I'm pretty much I was thrown into becoming the CFO of the company, and I didn't know I love numbers that much, so I did. I'm doing very well with the company and running the numbers. And with that said, I'm going to take a bit of that money and start planning for those 25-year, anniversary party.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
awesome.
there's going to be a
well,
lot
you better
of
let me know about the party.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Bring the camera, George.
For sure, for sure. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming in and taking a little slice of your day to come tell us, what's going on in Miami and in construction. It was really great having you.
It was great that you had us here and talking to you and spending time with you,
I almost forgot one the most important thing. I need your website or phone number so the people could call you guys.
Oh,
Good.
Definitely.
So our office number is 305-463-9979.
And our website.
Instagram is at Building Experts. And also our website is wcgmiami.com.
Okay.
Yeah, www.wcgmiami.com.
And if you call, you might get lucky and get Beatriz to pick up the call.
Yes, I'll make sure to get things done.
All right. Well, thank you, George, Beatriz. Thank you, everybody. If you liked the show, give me a like. And if you really liked it, please share it. Have a great weekend.